Someone around you may already know exactly which words can quietly shake your confidence without raising anyone else's suspicion today. The frightening part is your brain often mistakes careful observation for genuine care until hidden patterns suddenly become impossible ignoring. What looks like kindness sometimes becomes silent research because manipulative people collect emotional information before making their next calculated move carefully. Stay with me, because after today, your instincts will finally have clear psychological evidence instead of confusing, uncomfortable feelings alone. Most fake friends never begin with obvious cruelty, because control grows faster when it hides behind patience, warmth, curiosity, and familiar conversations. They notice your routines, emotional reactions, private victories, and painful disappointments, while making their own intentions seem completely harmless. Every single day, your brain naturally rewards familiarity with trust, making this hidden strategy surprisingly effective, unless you understand exactly what they quietly measure first. Before this video ends, you will recognize these invisible patterns early, protecting your peace before emotional damage quietly takes deeper, lasting roots. Why fake friends study you. Imagine sharing one personal struggle, then discovering someone unexpectedly uses that exact weakness during your most emotionally vulnerable moment, without hesitation later. That strange coincidence rarely feels accidental, because manipulative minds often organize personal information like valuable tools, waiting for perfect opportunities ahead carefully. Psychology shows people seeking unhealthy control rarely chase honest connection, because predictable emotional reactions provide greater influence than authentic mutual trust. Together, the moment you recognize this hidden pattern, you stop feeding unnecessary information and start protecting your mind with quiet, intentional boundaries instead. How they turn information into control. The first silent sign appears when they remember tiny personal details that even close acquaintances would normally forget over ordinary conversations. Instead of using those memories to encourage your growth, they quietly save them until timing creates maximum emotional influence against you later. Healthy friendships collect memories for comfort, while manipulative friendships collect information for advantage, because knowledge often becomes silent psychological leverage eventually. Here is where everything becomes interesting, because the smallest remembered detail sometimes reveals the biggest hidden intention behind someone's smiling behavior. Picture mentioning an upcoming interview, financial challenge, or family concern, believing the conversation will naturally disappear after that ordinary discussion together. Days later, they unexpectedly mention that exact subject while carefully watching your facial expression, voice, and emotional reaction, without offering meaningful support. Their real objective is rarely solving your problem, because they simply want confirmation that your emotional pressure point still responds predictably today. Protect yourself with calm confidence by sharing less, explaining less, and allowing your private life to remain genuinely private whenever possible. The information imbalance. Another powerful warning appears when someone constantly requests updates about your life, yet reveals almost nothing meaningful about themselves during conversations. They know your goals, relationships, fears, and daily routines, while their personal world always remains surprisingly vague, carefully protected behind clever distractions. This creates an invisible psychological imbalance, because one person holds complete access, while the other receives almost no authentic emotional transparency whatsoever. Next, you will discover why this imbalance gives manipulative people unexpected influence, and how your brain can immediately recognize the pattern, forever. Manipulative people rarely make important requests before checking your emotional state, because timing often determines whether resistance quietly disappears without notice. They observe your stress, frustration, loneliness, or excitement before introducing criticism, favors, or subtle competition disguised as ordinary conversation between friends. Your brain naturally lowers defensive thinking during emotional exhaustion, making those moments especially attractive for someone seeking unhealthy psychological control. Instead, the scary part is, once you recognize this timing pattern, you begin seeing it repeated far more often than expected. Another revealing sign appears when they quietly imitate your habits, confidence, or achievements while pretending every similarity happened completely by coincidence. Naturally, instead of celebrating your growth, they mirror your success, then subtly compete, hoping others eventually forget where those positive changes originally started. Real confidence creates inspiration, whereas hidden insecurity creates imitation. Because borrowed identities always struggle surviving without constant comparison against someone else. Instead of chasing emotional victories, your brain grows stronger through consistent boundaries and quiet self-respect, exactly like quiet growth encourages daily. Reclaim your peace. The most dangerous fake friends constantly adjust their personality depending on who watches, because maintaining access matters more than genuine loyalty ever. When respected people appear, they become supportive, yet private moments often reveal criticism, manipulation, or carefully disguised attempts weakening your confidence gradually. This behavior proves their actions follow calculation instead of authentic care, because healthy relationships never require changing masks for different audiences consistently. Once you notice these shifting patterns, stop arguing completely and simply reduce unnecessary access, because silence often protects better than endless explanations. Remember, every warning sign today points toward one simple truth. Your peace becomes stronger whenever your boundaries become clearer and consistently respected. Your brain was never weak because confusion disappears quickly after hidden manipulation finally receives a clear psychological explanation supported by careful observation. This week, choose one conversation. Share less personal information, and calmly notice who respects your healthier boundaries without demanding unnecessary emotional access. Once your mind rewires toward quiet confidence, manipulative friendships lose their influence, and genuine relationships naturally become easier to recognize and protect.